Hey guys, this video is going to be a review of Elsker by St. Bende or Bende. I'm not sure if you pronounce the E or not, which is the first book in the Elsker saga, which is a series of books based on Norse mythology. I definitely know less about Norse mythology than I know about, say, Greek mythology or Roman mythology. Because of that, I was really looking forward to reading a book about Norse mythology, but I have to say that Elsker was pretty disappointing. Writing itself wasn't that great. The dialogue especially seemed really artificial and strange most of the time. Almost every time the characters talked, I was like, people don't talk like that. And there was an attempt made with Ole, the romantic interest, who is a Norse god, making him speak like old-fashioned, except one, as far as old-fashioned language goes, it still didn't feel like it was actually old-fashioned language. It seemed like a bad attempt at it. But beyond that, I kind of felt like he shouldn't be using that language. Like, he's hiding on Earth. He doesn't want anyone to know he's a Norse god. So one would think that he would update his language to be like modern language. This book definitely also has insta-love, which is something that I do not like. The main characters almost immediately are like, we'll be together forever. And one thing that really gets me, it's not the first time I've seen a book do this, but it continually just frustrates me every time a book does it, and that is the main characters getting together and almost immediately declaring to each other that they will always be together, but then having an I love you scene later and making a big deal out of it. So like in Elsker, for example, they're talking to each other about how they know that they'll be together forever and they never plan to leave each other and everything from rather early on in the book. But then there's a scene later in the book where they say I love you for the first time, and it's like, I can't believe we said it. You can't believe you said I love you when you have already been declaring that you're never leaving each other. Really? I just don't understand that at all. The world building in this book also wasn't all that great. I kind of came out of the book unsure about the world and how it worked. Obviously, they're using Norse mythology as its basis. While I don't know much about Norse mythology, I do know about the different realms and things, and the book uses that as a basis, but it doesn't do a very good job with it. At the end of it, I don't really feel like I got a really great world. It's kind of like this book took place in some strange, like, isolated thing. I don't know how to describe what I'm trying to say, but like, it was like the book took place in a very small place, even though the main character is from a town who we never really learn where the town is even, which is kind of what I mean. Like, it's just some random town and you never get much context for it. She then goes to college in Wales, but it doesn't really feel like they're in Wales. Like, there's no like character to the setting. It's just really bland. And then even when they go to like Asgard and stuff, it's all pretty bland. Like, you never get a really good sense of the setting. I didn't feel like I was in another world, I guess is a way of saying it. It just felt kind of like, I almost feel like everything in the book was happening and like the characters were there, and then all around the characters was just fuzziness. I think that's the best way I can describe what the setting felt like. Like, it was almost like the setting wasn't there at all, despite it being mentioned that we're in Wales and blah blah blah. It's almost strange to me how much that fuzziness thing feels true. Like, I never, not once, had a good picture in my head of what their surroundings actually were. There were a number of other problems I had with the book, but those were the biggest ones that kept bugging me throughout the entire book. Overall, I just kind of feel like I never got into the plot. I never like connected with the characters. I can never even picture where they were as far as setting goes. That is everything. I will see you guys later. Bye.